I called it again. I predicted it again. But I literally said, this guy will be one of the most hated streamers in a few short months. I can tell when somebody is on the verge of screwing up. I can tell when somebody is on the verge of doing some stupid shit. I can always just smell it in the air. I can feel it. I just know. I just know. Recently, Nmplol, Nmplol, known divorcee or divorcee or divorced, I don't know, known divorced person, has gotten into some hot water. Why did he get into some hot water? Well, let me give you a little bit of a background real quick. Let me give you a little bit of information. Let me give you a little bit of a background. So recently, as we have seen, and these are live updates, by the way, so this will constantly be changing. Earlier, when I found this source, it was 50. Now it's 67. But for those of you who don't know, there was a Texas flood recently, one of the most devastating weather catastrophes to happen in quite some time. Like, this isn't even close to the hurricanes or the storms or tornadoes of last year. Death toll rises to 67. With 11 girls still missing from summer camp, right? The total includes at least 21 children. Jeez, where 11 girls and one counselor are still missing from camp. Yeah, very unfortunate. This has been one of the most devastating weather phenomena in a while. So just to give you a little bit of background, it's horrible. It's been a horrible situation. Nmplol recently has caught a lot of heat for his comments on this situation. Now, what exactly did he say?
Like 13 confirmed people dead and like 12
really?
like campers are lost right now from a summer camp nearby.
Campers?
Is
Yes.
it children awake?
Younglings, Nick.
Okay. They don't have much to live for anyways. It's okay.
Wait, they have their whole lives ahead of them.
Yeah.
What? Their whole lives, Bree?
Their
That's gonna
entire
Bree.
lives.
When they're older, every job is gonna be AI. Everything they learn is on ChatGPT. There is no future.
Like 13.
All right. Typically, I'm pro freedom of speech. Typically, I will say that either it's all okay or none of it is okay. And you know what? In a situation like this, I'm going to stand on my principles. I think everybody should be allowed to say anything, regardless of how obscene it is, whenever they want, so long as it's not a death threat or a call to violence or an immoral call to action. However, there is a time and a place. There is a time and a place. You have to be aware that sometimes the words that you say can affect people very negatively. Sometimes the way that you say things can affect people very negatively. And while I am not a fan of thought crime, to be clear, you as a creator hold certain liabilities that other people, you as a creator are subject to very specific liabilities that most people are not. If you want to be an incredibly popular Twitch streamer and not be flamed by the internet, then sometimes it should be within your best interest to protect your business. If you don't care about the emotions behind it, if you don't care behind the thoughts, behind the thoughts behind anything, if it's just words and words shouldn't really hurt people, if you don't care about that, you should at least, if you're going to be that insensitive, care about what it means for your business. So this, absolutely criticizable. While I do believe he reserves the right to say whatever it is that he wants to say, while I do believe that he reserves the right, that everybody reserves the right to say whatever it is that they want to say, there is a time and a place. And maybe to protect your business, to protect your reputation, to protect your credibility, you should probably watch what you say. That is the criticism here. He probably should have watched what he said here and not have made such a poor taste joke that I personally would have never made, by the way, because I am a goody two-shoes. I'm soy. You guys know that I don't like saying certain things, right? He probably should have held his tongue and not said anything at all, especially in a time when the tragedy is just going exponentially higher. Because, as we're about to read here, watch as Twitch streamer Nmplol, who has 1.2 million followers, makes dark jokes about the deadly Texas floods that have sadly killed 47 people and left over 27 girls missing from a summer camp. And as we have seen, the toll has risen significantly from then. Death tolls rises to 67. That's 20. That's 20 that has increased since last night. So yes, you gotta watch your tongue, right? People make terrible jokes about terrible situations and terrible atrocities all the time, but it's typically a socially understood rule to not say unhinged stuff in very, very unfortunate developing situations. The reason why I want to keep covering this is because even though I believe that he reserves the right to like say anything, there is a development to this. There is something about this entire story that, in my opinion, makes Nmplol look like an absolute failure, like an absolute asshole. So here's what Roz Alert has to say. His friends, visibly uncomfortable, try to steer the conversation away, recognizing the extreme sensitivity of the subject. True. Viewers responded with shock and outrage, which I can understand, slamming the comment as tone deaf and deeply inappropriate. Yes, especially in light of the devastating loss of young lives. That is a lot of unfortunately very young lives that are being lost, and he's just making fun of the fact that they'll never get to experience it because there's nothing to live for anyways, right? There are multiple like compounding insensitive comments there. This comes as Texas reels from historic flooding that has killed 47 people, which is 67 now, including 15 children and left 27 girls missing from a summer camp. Devastating situation. However, after he got attention from the situation, right? After he got attention from the situation, I apologize for nothing. Anyone upset is a pussy with no friends. I ignore your opinion and laugh at your failures. Now keep this in mind. Keep this in mind. Keep this in mind because it'll be important contextually later. I apologize for nothing. Anyone upset is a pussy with no friends. I ignore your opinion and laugh at your failures. Clearly, your friends were uncomfortable in that moment. So, would you say that they are a pussy with no friends, therefore you're not their friends either? You're ignoring their opinions? What an amazing person. Me personally, I'm an insensitive asshole that doesn't care for the feelings of the people that I potentially, offend sometimes. I'm a very insensitive asshole, but I at least understand that there is a time and a place for situations like these. I at least understand that sometimes you have to take into consideration what other people may think, especially if you want to be a social individual that is trying to capitalize off social entertainment such as IRL streaming, right? If you want to make it strictly business. If you want to be as insensitive as possible, you can at least use that argument. NMP apologizes for his joke about the Texas floods after his clip showed up on Roz Alerts. Now, given the context that we have, let's take a look at the tone of what he typed out here as an apology. Sorry, guys. Joke went too far. I wasn't fully aware of the situation. It's tragic what's happened. I'll be more mindful going forward. Hope everyone stays safe and dry in Texas. Safe and dry in Texas. Dude, I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if I'm like overreacting here. And to be clear, again, I'm an insensitive asshole as well, but this seems incredibly backhanded. This seems incredibly backhanded, dude. This is just as tone deaf. Hope everyone stays safe and dry in Texas. Heart emoji, heart emoji. I don't know. I don't know if I'm being a sensitive little bitch right now, but this seems incredibly fucking backhanded to me. This seems incredibly tone deaf and backhanded to me. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, okay? Thoughts and prayers. Go on, Isu. Hope everyone stays safe and dry in Texas. Right? I don't know. To me, this seems backhanded. To me, this seems intentional. But that is me speculating, right? I don't want to be bad faith on the guy. I don't want to be bad faith. Much as I dislike the guy. But there's more. There's more. There is more. That was last night. Eat says, NP responds after Donut Operator called him out for his joke about the Texas flood. Now, to be clear, pay attention to what he's saying here. Donut Operator says, we're in the mud looking for bodies all day. Great joke, F-slur, at Nmplol. Then Nmplol is like, what the fuck? Yo, Techie asked me if I wanted to go shoot with him. That answer is definitely no, lol. What a fucking pathetic little wretch. The joke was bad, I'll give him that, but calling a 35-year-old man F-slur in 2025 is wild. I feel like it's high school. What are you talking about? What is this idiot talking about? This guy, what a fucking loser. Well, look, see, this is exactly what I was like. This is exactly what I was building up into earlier. This is exactly what I was building up into earlier. You can't defend your right to say edgy jokes under the premise that you don't care. You can't defend the right to say edgy jokes in a hypersensitive situation, right? You can't do that and then be irritated and virtue signal about somebody saying the slur, dude. What? In a situation, okay, logically speaking, the reason why people don't say the F slur is because F slur is considered to be a pejorative. It's supposed to be offensive. It's supposed to denote the value of somebody by calling them a very specific word to offend them and devalue their lives. Okay? That is what slurs are. You're going to complain about a slur when you made an edgy joke devaluing the lives of children in a flood. Insane hypocrisy here, dude. Insane fucking hypocrisy. Nmplol is one of the most pathetic fucking losers on the internet. Cognitive dissonance through the roofs. Oh my god, his viewers are spam calling me and telling me to suck on a shotgun. You can't complain about it, dude. At the bare minimum, your joke was just as bad. Denigrating an entire group of potentially dead people. And at worst, your joke is significantly worse considering you're denigrating an entire group of dead people. What a fucking loser. What a fucking loser, dude. Look, again, I'm all for freedom of speech. Me personally, I'm not that offended that Nmplol said the joke. I don't care, right? I have no emotional ties into this. Once again, time and place. But if he wants these standards, if he wants to like employ these standards, then you yourself should not be complaining about anything at all. Pathetic piece of shit. We have this. The heat gets hotter as people start saying, and this right here is what really like made me actually care about the situation. This right here is what actually made me emotional about the situation, as pathetic as it sounds. As soy of me as it sounds, this right here is what actually made me care about the situation and go like, okay. It's where I slowed down and I was like, okay, you know, all right. I do have a little bit of like, you know, of a soft spot in my heart for this. Donut operator clarifies why he called NP what he did. Brandon Herrera jumps in as well. Dude makes a shitty quote-unquote joke about dead kids, but plays victim about being called the name. Odd priorities. True. Donut operator tags OTK, which an Nmplol likes to flex about and flaunt a lot, to be clear. These the kind of people you like having around? Joking about the situation, then doubling down on it, and then only apologizing once they're called out? Took this picture today. When I ask him if he's got some jokes about it, I mean, you could be the most insensitive asshole in the world. And you can be like, so what? It's just a shoe. What does it matter? But I feel, given like, you know, the amount of damage in the background, given the damage that you see in the foreground, and the fact that this obviously is a shoe belonging to somebody that, you know, is missing, and you take it in, you know, and you take it in holistically, and then contrast that and you know, compound it with the fact that people just keep dying, then it hits it hits to a more specific degree, right? It puts you in touch with what's actually going on. All right, Isu. All right, Isu. I disavow. I disavow. But yeah. Yeah, it's rough. It is pretty rough. And also, I like to hate on TANKED on a lot of my streams because I consider him to be a narcissistic posturing loser. But I will give him credit where credit is due. Canceling stream today. Gonna go help out with the Guadalupe River flooding disaster. Fundraiser details coming soon as well. Be back tomorrow. You know what? Even if he's doing this performatively, I'm not even going to begin to make that argument or claim, because a situation this devastating requires a lot of care and attention. And if he happens to be one of the individuals doing so, then I'll give him respect and credit for this.